just like to welcome everybody here tonight and bring you greetings on behalf of our government of Newfoundland and Labrador and my district, Grand Falls, Windsor, Green Bay South. I'm the second longest sitting member at the present time in the House Assembly. Tom Osborne was there, I think, a year longer than me, but I tell you, that's not an easy thing to do, to stay in politics for 15 years. It'll be 17 when I finish. Because the average is only 6 years, so it's been a lot of hard work and a lot of long nights. But I'm really proud to represent the town of Grand Falls, Windsor. Of course, when I first started back in 1987, the first time I ran, one of 8 or 7 times, it was Windsor Buckens. Of course, Windsor Buckens was a challenge district too because of Buckens. It was a lot of hard work trying to get back and forth to Buckens when I was campaigning and taking them back from Millertown. Well, in my 15 years representing you people, that I really enjoyed my job. I really love my job. I really love representing the people of Grand Falls, Windsor. And growing up in the town of Windsor, I'm so proud to say that all the things I learned in my lifetime growing up was because of the wonderful people that I grew up around. All the great families, great people, important people. Many people moved on and became very successful in careers, all kinds of careers. And that was a challenge thrown out to the people that lived around them. And even in my business career, I always looked up to the business people. I knew most of them, the Riffs, Cohenses, everybody that was on Main Street, because that's where I grew up. I grew up on Main Street, and I grew up playing on Main Street and getting in trouble sometimes. I hung around with the groups. I hung around with Herman Beeson and that group. They were a lot older than I was, but I spent many hours at Tony Kim's place, many hours, playing pinball machines. More times I was there than in school. My mother, she used to get quite mad at me when someone said I wasn't in school. Where were you? Well, I didn't tell, but someone else did. Spent a lot of time down on Main Street. And it wasn't easy growing up at that time because everybody knows, I think right around the province, that the boys in Windsor liked to fight. And they did. There was lots of fights. And there was lots of things going on. And I'm not saying people were that hard, because they're hard everywhere. But when you grow up in a community, no matter what community it is, that community means a lot to you. The former town of Windsor meant a lot to me. I appreciate all the councils, the councillors that are here tonight, and previous councils that helped to grow our town. It was a lot of hard work to try to keep a community this size, viable and sustainable. It took a lot of money, took a lot of infrastructure. And when I was a little boy, I remember campaigning time came around when Ambrose Peddle became a politician. And I always said that my dream is to become a politician and represent the town of Windsor. That's what I wanted to do. I grew up when we had outhouses and wells, and we never had water and sewer, never had paved roads on Patrick Street back when I was a kid. And I says, one of these days I want to represent the town of Windsor. And right from 1974, the first time I got involved in politics, when I met Frank Moores at a function, and he encouraged me to help out and get involved as a youth, I did. Even though my family were liberals. My father was a big liberal, die-hard liberal. But I got involved with Frank Moore's team, and I stuck with it for now over 30 years, almost 40 years. And my dream was to become a politician and a businessman. I fulfilled that dream. I always wanted to do that. But politics was something that was dear to my heart because there was so much need in the province. There was so much need in Windsor at the time. I remember lots of times that I've talked to councillors and mayors and how difficult it was trying to get just a few dollars to pave a road or fix the water and sewer. And Eugene was a good friend of mine back then that used to have good talks with and tell me how things were hard for them. And I said I was going to become a politician. I'm going to represent the town of Windsor. But it was the district of Windsor Buckens. And then later on it became Windsor Springdale, which the Green Bay side of my district I really enjoyed, to wonderful people that I represent, and was proud to do so. But here, when it became Grand Falls, Windsor, equally I was still proud to represent the town of Grand Falls, Windsor, and the people of Grand Falls, Windsor. But my heart, from growing up, is in Windsor. That's natural. It's normal, because everybody looks at their own town as to where their heart is to. Maybe they might live there all their life, but your heart's still back where you grew up in most cases. So just being here tonight to help celebrate 75 years of incorporation, and it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Some people might look down and say, well, you're dividing town again. No. I've been all over this province in many communities where it's 3 and 4 communities joined together, but everybody still keep their identity, and everybody still wants to celebrate their past history. And we see it in Triton, where Triton was 4 or 5 communities come together. New West Valley, I was down there a few weeks ago for a couple of days, and 3 or 4 communities together. But everybody want to keep their identity and keep their history alive, and pass it on to our children. That's something we're not doing. We're not passing on where we come from, how we became a community. Now, I remember very well back years ago when the business on the Windsor side, and why they were there. And there's no mistake why people started their business in Windsor, because they weren't allowed in Grand Falls at the time. It's a company campsite. Some say a company town, but it was a company campsite. You weren't allowed to set up there unless you had special permission from the company. And I know when my grandfather came to Grand Falls Station back in the early days of the mill, he lived in a shed somewhere around 9th Avenue area. That's where he came and set up home in somebody's shed. And there was hundreds of people that done the same thing. And eventually then my father built a house in Windsor, and of course that's how we got to come here. But it was because of the mill, there's no doubt. There's no doubt that everybody in this community was here for either the mill, the forestry, or the railway. I mean, that was the things that draw them here. So tonight I'm very proud to be here with you and enjoy celebrating your 71st anniversary. I want to thank all the people that have taken it, Wayne and your helpers and whoever was part of it. Done a great job, and on behalf of myself and my family, just want to say thank you, and thank all the councillors that are here in the past, and the councillors here tonight, the mayor, that keep our history alive. Keep the town of Grand Falls' history alive. Keep the town of Windsor's history alive. But we can still love the town of Grand Falls, Windsor. We can still be proud of living in Grand Falls, Windsor, but still remember our past and our history. So thank you very much for coming out, and it's a pleasure to be here. God bless you.